Hare Krishna. We have been studying this third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What is the title? Karma Yoga. We have studied earlier how chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita is problem definition. What's the common problem? Dehatma Buddhi. All of us have a misidentification of who we are. We wrongly identify with our body and its extensions. Whereas we are originally spirit souls belonging to spiritual world. Chapter number 2 talks about summary of Bhagavad Gita, in which the major concepts karma, jnana, yoga are introduced, especially bhakti. So there are various ways with which you can connect to God: karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana or ashtanga yoga, and bhakti yoga. When we employ our senses to do work, but then the fruits of that work we offer to God, that's karma yoga. When we use our mind and intelligence in the work of philosophical speculation, philosophical inquiry about the nature of God, that's jnana yoga. When we employ our mind, senses, etc. in meditation on the form of the super soul, Paramatma, situated in our heart, that is called dhyana yoga. And when we, all our resources, talents, senses, mind, intelligence, everything, we engage in loving service of God directly through Shravanam, hearing about God, Kirtanam, glorifying God, Smaranam, remembering the Lord, etc. Various forms of Sevanam, service activities, that is called as Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the culmination of our development of relationship with God. So Bhakti Yoga includes and surpasses the benefits of other forms of yoga. Then now we are on chapter 3, where the Karma Yoga is being elaborated. In chapter 3, the Karma Yoga is the Karma Yoga in practice, which means the person has not yet attained perfection in Karma Yoga, but how does he behave, how does he conduct himself? In chapter 4, what is the title of the chapter 4? Transcendental Knowledge. Lord Krishna reveals about himself, who he is, why does he come in this world, who are we in relationship to him. That's transcendental knowledge about Krishna. And how to practice that knowledge in our life is also given, which is an advanced form of similar Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. And 5th chapter is Karma Yoga in perfection. How does a perfected Karma Yogi live or behave? That is told in chapter 5. And in chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga. So are you getting the flow? How things are going here? Although Bhagavad Gita is a spontaneous conversation between two wonderful warriors on the battlefield, they are very logical about their presentation. Nothing is going on haphazardly. And just like any good teacher, Lord Krishna tells what he is going to talk about in the beginning, after Arjuna's dilemma is being put forth. And at the end, in the 18th chapter, again the same summary will come. He also summarizes what he taught to Arjuna. So in this way, this Bhagavad Gita is a very, very precise textbook on standard spiritual knowledge. If anybody wants to know what is spirituality, they should at least be conversant with this one book. Then they can pass comments about whether God exists, doesn't exist, what is spirituality according to me and according to him and her and all that. So all of us are very fortunate that we are getting to study this book of knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Goiham, Pavitram, Idam Uttamam. This is king of all knowledge. Raja Vidya. Raja Goiham, the secret of all secrets. Pavitram, most pure knowledge. Idam Uttamam. It takes you beyond the world of darkness and beyond the darkness of your own hearts. Uttamam. Pratyaksha Avagamam. One can have factual realization of this knowledge when he practices it. He can pratyaksha, see the results. And dharmyam, one becomes dharmic by studying and applying this knowledge. Susukham, kartum avyayam. And this knowledge is also very joyfully performed. It's not a boring thing to do. And whatever progress you may make on this path is avyaya. It never goes in vain. It is never diminished. So if you left off after doing your 7th standard in spirituality, in next life you continue from 8th standard onwards. You don't have to go back to KG again. It's called avyaya. Imperishable spiritual advancement one makes. So in the chapter 3rd that we are currently studying, what's the acronym? Okay. So we have 4 major sections. So T for Tyaga versus Karma Yoga, which is better. Karma Yoga is better than trying to do Tyaga. Renunciation of possessions and engagement of possessions in God's service. What is better? Engagement of possessions in God's service rather than renouncing everything. Then R for rungs of ladder. Rungs of yoga ladder. So what's that yoga ladder we saw? It is Homo sapiens, the modern human beings, who are highly irregulated. They eat when they are not hungry, sleep when they are not tired, mate when it is not proper season, and defend for nothing, for no good reason. They play video games. Mental defense. Against what? Imagined things that you did not defend about. So that's Homo sapiens. A little below, a little above that is animal life. Animals are regulated. They eat only when they are hungry, sleep when they are tired. You may say, hey, this is too much. How can you dare say such a thing? Anyways, we'll go ahead. Then there is Karma Kanda. You practice Vedic life, pious life to get material enjoyment. That is called Karma Kand. Sukha sampati ghar aave, kashta mite tanaka. So that's typical Karma Kand. You employ God in your service. You ring the bell of religion, call the cosmic waiter called God, and then give him your menu. Hamari mange puri karo. That's Karma Kand. A little above is Karma Yoga. Above that is Jnana Yoga. Above that is Dhyana Yoga. And above that is Bhakti Yoga. So this was the yoga ladder, very briefly discussed in those section of verses. Then E for why should we practice Karma Yoga? Although we may be very detached, we may be very advanced in spiritual life, and we may not be so liking to get involved with these day-to-day materialistic affairs, still one should continue Karma Yoga. Staying in this world for what? For setting a right example for others to follow. So become exemplary. Because we have studied these verses, Yad acharati sreshthas tatta deve taro janaha. Whatever example a great leader sets, common men follow. So what parents do, children observe. What the teachers do, the students observe. What the political leaders or government officials do, common people, and in modern times, what the movie actors and actresses do, the Janta follows. I heard this interesting input. Narendra Modi was once asked, तो मोदी जी, आपके बचपन में आपने क्या सोचा था, आगे जाकर क्या बनूंगा? तो मोदी जी ने कहा, बचपन में मैंने ऐसा नहीं सोचा था कि आगे जाकर क्या बनूंगा, लेकिन हाँ, मैं ये ज़रूर सोचा करता था कि आगे जाकर मैं क्या करूंगा. Which means a lot of our time goes in trying to create a status quo about ourselves, which is an imaginary conception of ourselves. It's our fictitious self, which we want to create and enjoy that status. That's banunga, kuch jaake. Rather, we should be after doing service, meaningful service for others. Kuch karunga. And that will naturally make us exemplary in our lives. So even parents are behind their children to become something rather than do something. So we have to be very careful. What kind of example are we setting for them? Anyway, so become exemplary. That's the message of Bhagavad Gita. And set the trend for common men to follow. So each of us are leaders in our own small domains, small or big domains. Others are watching us. Especially when you become spiritualists, people start observing you under telescope and microscope. And you will see that your family members or other friends, when you do a slight unexemplary thing, they immediately talk to you about it. हमें नहीं पता था इस्कॉन वाले ऐसा भी करते हैं. क्या फायदा है इतने सारे भगवद गीता क्लासेस सुनकर अगर तुम्हारा गुस्सा कंट्रोल में नहीं आता है? Oh my God, that's like somebody cooking you thoroughly. So in this way, it's a good challenge. It's a worthy challenge in our life to live up to those people's expectations. It really purifies us of our own shortcomings. So set an example. And what is that one thing that makes us unexemplary? Or that is the greatest enemy of the soul? Lust. So that was the last title. Enemy of the soul. Atma. That is lust. Lust means wanting to enjoy property of God without God. Like Ravana. He wanted to enjoy Sita without Ram. So in modern times, people want to have facilities to enjoy them, but they don't want to bring God into picture, the proprietor of all of it. So that is lust. And this covetousness, wanting to enjoy someone else's property without their permission or sanction, not even acknowledging who it belongs to, is a root cause of all our problems. All the strife that we undergo in our heart, all the prejudices, all the pretense, as if we are living a split personality, is all because of this one problem, lust. This lust, when fulfilled, turns into greed, and when not fulfilled, turns into anger. And these three are royal roads to hell. That's what Lord Krishna describes. Trividham narakasya idam dwaram. Nashanam atmanaha. Kamaha, krodha, tatha, lobha. Tasmad etat trayam tyajet. We should give them up. So this is why I thought we should quickly do an kind of an overview. Otherwise we kind of get lost. Where are we? Who am I? What is happening here in Bhagavad Gita? So where are we now? We are still continuing this section. Exemplary. How a devotee of God should become exemplary. Exemplary in his self-care. Exemplary in his family dealings. Exemplary in his occupational duty. Exemplary in his social contribution. And especially exemplary in his spiritual practice. So we have quite a bit of homework to do. And there is no time to waste. कोई आकर आगे हमारे आके कुछ टेम्पटेशंस प्रस्तुत करे तो हम बोलेंगे सॉरी सर, नो टाइम. There is a lot pending already. Where is the time to do all this nonsense? So, let's continue now. How should a person who has now become a good leader by the example that he sets and thus become trustworthy in others' eyes, should engage people that come to him? Or how should a leader engage those who become his followers? That is stated in these verses. Text number 29, please repeat again. Prakruter guna sammodha sajjante guna karmasu tana kritsna vido bandhan kritsna vinna vichalayet. Please read translation.
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge.
One thing I have typically observed in my classes is the children, they really enjoy seeing their parents studying something. An interesting thing for them. जैसे आज तक हमको पढ़ाने के लिए इतना डोज दिया जाता था, अभी कोई तो आ गया इनके जीवन में जो इनको भी पढ़ाता है. They are really happy about it. But mind you, they are also learning from you. They actually take that as an example, that how one should be a constant learner and never think that I know. And that's why I congratulate you for becoming exemplary in this regard. So there are two types of people that are described here. One is Krutsnavit. Krutsnavit means one who is expert in engaging himself and others in meaningful activities. Is called Krutsnavit. And there are other people who are called Akrutsnavit. Tan Akrutsnavidau Mandan. Akrutsnavit means those who are unaware of how to keep oneself meaningfully engaged. Forget about engaging others. So there are two types of people. So of course leader is one. You know this word neta? Leader comes from netra. One who has a clear vision of where he is going, and one who can inspire others to willingly follow him. Is called Neta. Interesting definition. So, a Neta has to be Krutsnavit. He knows how to engage himself meaningfully and how to engage others meaningfully. Usually, those who are Krutsnavit, what are they doing in their life? Prakrute guna sammudha. They are bewildered by the three modes of nature. Sattva gun, rajo gun, tamo gun. They are under their captivity. And they don't know how their life is going, conducted by these three modes. Kabhi man chaha उठ गए, कभी मन चाहा चाय पी ली, कभी मन चाहा टीवी देख लिया, कभी मन चाहा सो गए, फिर वो उठ गए, फिर मन चाहा तो थोड़ा मस्तानी आइसक्रीम खा के आ गए, फिर मन चाहा तो थोड़ा पिक्चर देख लिया, मन चाहा तो थोड़ा न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ लिया. Sometimes people read newspaper, I said top left corner till the last page, bottom right corner, and you ask them, अरे इतना समय 1.5 घंटा तुम पढ़ रहे हैं, क्या ज़रूर है कि इतना सारा पढ़ना, मैट्रिमोनियल्स एंड तुम्हारा क्या काम है उससे? तो बोला क्यों, पैसा दिया है उसको, फुकट थोड़ी है, पढ़ना ही चाहिए पूरा. So this is a Krutsnavit. He doesn't know how to meaningfully engage himself. And that's why, especially you will see this happens. Of course, in the youth it is still okay because somebody else is your boss and you have some occupation. Especially after retirement, there is a big problem. Especially in America and countries like that, old people, they usually do not know what to do. They fish, they go golf, and they debate on some useless socio-political topics, and they keep giving free advice to the government, which government doesn't anyways hear what they're talking about. And in this way, they spend their entire time. So one has to be very careful to become not a Kritsnavit, who is bewildered by the modes, and the modes are controlling. Sometimes Tamoguna, sometimes Rajoguna, sometimes Satvaguna. He doesn't know what is his life, where is it going. So Prakruter Guna Sammudha, fully bewildered by the three modes of nature, and they keep engaging themselves according to those modes into various activities. So when they are in Tamoguna, what are their activities? Oversleeping, overeating, okay, procrastination, intoxication, alcohol, this, that. So this is Tamoguna. And then Rajoguna. In Rajoguna, what are your activities? Passionate activities, bungee jumping, and they have this vigor and vitality, where they want to create something new without taking care of anything that they have already done. So it's passion. And in Sattva Guna, what are the activities? Philanthropy. Spirituality is not Sattva. Spirituality is beyond the three modes. It is Shuddha Sattva. When you are practicing spirituality, you are not controlled by the three modes of nature. You are beyond them. Reading good books, writing poetry, nature walks, and all that. So it's Sattva Guna, right? So people get addicted to those things according to the modes that govern them. And because of this, they don't know what to do, what not to do with their life. The modes are conducting their mind, and they are following the mind everywhere. So they are called Mandan. Mandan means those who are lazy or dull-headed. So in Pune, this is a gali. Ha kasla manda manus hai. They say like that. So manda means thoda slow hai, processing, to understand what is going on. So we will see in our lives only, we come across various types of such people. Now that we have become spiritualists, we are very enthusiastic about spiritual culture. And then there are other people around, parents, relatives, friends, sometimes extended members in the family, sometimes our, there are people that we come across in society who are either doing immediate or extended sense gratification. Immediate sense gratification means party karenge, ye karenge, the immediate sense. Extended sense gratification means, let's do philanthropy and some kind of nationalistic activities. And extended means, let's not just satisfy my own senses, satisfy the senses of other people also around. That's extended sense gratification. But in any case, there is no God in picture. And when we become devotees, we feel not so happy about what they are doing, because we want to tell them, Arey, you want Ramarajya without Ram? There's something fundamentally wrong with your concept. So, we are become hyper enthusiastic. And often our tendency is to criticize them, to tell them you are wrong. You are tightening the decks on the sinking Titanic. You are trying to make situations better in this material world, which is anyways going to get destroyed in due course of time. What's the point? Build your, as Jesus says, build your home in the kingdom of God. Don't build your home on the bridges. The bridges are meant to cross over. So we get hyper and we give them doses, and you will typically see they don't appreciate. They think that becoming spiritualist means becoming antisocial and becoming fanatical, fundamentalist, and a kind of, a social outcast. And they start criticizing, and they themselves are never encouraged to take to spirituality, hearing from us. So we often do preaching to them. Operation successful, patient is dead. We convince them philosophically of what we are talking, but they never become spiritualists, for sure. So what to do? So here is a clue. Tan akrutsna vido mandan, krutsna vinna vichalayet. A devotee of the Lord should not agitate such people. by his so-called presentation of fundamental spirituality. Then you must say, "Arey, फिर उसको truth कब पता चलेगा प्रभु? He is already in illusion." So we say, Shanti. They are already engaged in so many nice activities, whatever their things going on. You now dovetail, channelize those activities in such a way that they can slowly bring God into their lives. Don't stop what they are doing, channelize. It's like just like we have a fast bowler. They throw the ball at you and you don't know how to handle. So usually you put your body in front instead of using the bat. No need to do. If you become an expert batsman, the ball is already coming in such a nice speed, you just give it a direction. It goes for a 4 or a 6. Similarly, people have their passion. People have their ignorance. People have their goodness. All this can be harnessed in serving God. For example, during the Samudra Manthan Leela, you know this, no? Famous story? The demons and the devatas, they were having this churning. There was this Mandarachala Parvat, a mountain. And they used Vasuki, the serpent, as the rope for churning. And it is said Vasuki, the devatas were told by Vishnu that they should hold the face side of the serpent, and the demons were told that they should hold the tail side of the serpent. And the demons said, "Arey, tail? Pooch pakadne ka? This is inferior position." So demon means anytime anything God says, he has to do opposite only. So he said, "I want to hold the face." And the Lord Vishnu knew this, this is how is coming up. So he said, "Fine, no problem. Let the devatas go hold the tail and you hold the face." And what was happening when Vasuki was his stomach, can you imagine some serpent stomach you put on a mountain as a coil and then you churn it. So Vasuki was vomiting fire and venom from all his mouths. And who was burning now? The demons, because they wanted to be on the side of the face. And the devatas were peaceful. So Lord, it is said, he empowered Vasuki to become influenced by Tamoguna. So that Vasuki was under kind of anesthesia. He was not knowing what is going on with him. But he was getting nicely used in the service of mankind. By empowering his Tamoguna, he was doing service. And then the Lord empowered the devatas with Sattva Guna. They became active on the basis of Sattva. And the Lord empowered the demons with Rajoguna. And in this way, everybody was enthusiastic in their own activity. And there was something that was coming out good through that entire arrangement. So this is the genius of the Lord. He knows whom to empower with what. And get good work done out of them. Similarly, we should also learn this in our lives. We should not unnecessarily overly criticize people who are bewildered already and stop them from what they are already doing. Rather, dovetail their propensity and activities to serve God. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, the initial crowd that he met for giving this message of Bhagavad Gita were hippies. Now, hippies are quite a bit of personality. One time Prabhupada was asked, "What is a hippie?" And Prabhupada said, "Something extraordinary." You can't describe them. They're all practicing counterculture, thick, kind of chains and beads around their necks, some meditation that they would practice, long hair, unclean bodies, all kinds of bad habits, and huge stench, bad odor that would emanate from their bodies. So Prabhupada went in that kind of a civilization and taught them Bhagavad Gita. So one time, Prabhupada was invited by these hippies to come and give a session somewhere in a hippies party. They were celebrating a new discovery where by burning the banana skins and inhaling the smoke, you get intoxicated. So they had made this new discovery. So they found it a very cheap alternative to the other, costly drugs. And they were celebrating that. And they had a function. So Swamiji was invited to address the audience. Now, Prabhupada was very, he didn't know this whole American culture is very weird. Prabhupada is a sadhu from Vrindavan, going as a... So Prabhupada went there and he saw, because his devotees, disciples told him that it's an opportunity for preaching. And when Prabhupada went there, he saw on the stage, there were men and women dressed like bananas. The peels coming out of their, all directions. And Prabhupada was wondering, why are they dressed like that? So he said, what is this? They said they are celebrating the new discovery. And then Prabhupada, too much. And then, Prabhupada gave his speech on chanting Hare Krishna. And he saw that they were so intoxicated, nobody was hearing anything. They were in full tamoguna. So Prabhupada said, start kirtan. And they had a rousing kirtan. As the kirtan built up, he did 1 hour 15 minutes kirtan, Prabhupada, in that whole asana. Every single person there was crying out to the best of their ability the holy names of God. Some of them were actually experiencing great transcendental transformation, even crying. And they were so jubilant, dancing in the kirtan. For that period of time that they were engaged in the kirtan, they were completely spiritual personalities. Of course, once we stop kirtan, we again come down to our base level. But they were, and then that's how that term got coined by the hippies called stay high forever. Don't take drugs. Chant Hare Krishna and stay high forever. Stay always in Shuddha Sattva platform. Why do you come down to Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna? So after the program got over, the organizers were very happy because everybody had a great time. And then they said, we want to gift Swamiji something. I said, what do you want to gift? They said, we want to gift him bananas. Swamiji said, okay, for our Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities in San Francisco. Now San Francisco is renamed as New Jagannath Puri in ISKCON. So Prabhupada said, okay, we can offer it to the deities and have prasadam. They said, but we have one condition. So what the condition is? Get the peels back to us. And the devotee said, come on, this is... So they asked Prabhupada, can this be done? Prabhupada said, what else can be done? If you have to engage them in service of God, you accept that, at least they will get that sukruti, that they have done some service, and you give them the peels back for their tamoguna business. This is called Krishna Vinna Vichalayet. Don't disrupt, but engage, but dovetail. This is very radical examples. We are never going to come across such scenarios in our life. But I am giving you what kind of examples acharyas have set, so that we can at least come in grip with the normal people that we deal with. They are not like this. I recently heard this beautiful pastime. Sometimes Prabhupada would do this business of Vichalayat, which means sometimes a jolt is necessary to bring a person to sanity, so that he starts thinking seriously about life. Otherwise, they are always thinking high of themselves and their opinions. One time, there was a radio show being conducted, and the host of the radio show was very notorious. Notorious means ill-famous for his ability to insult the guests that come on the show. Interesting. This is American culture. It thrives on sarcastically insulting someone. And everybody feels happy about it. And sometimes you don't get to know that they actually insulted. So, the devotees, disciples, they told Prabhupada, please don't go. This man, he will speak anything and he will offend. None of us can tolerate, somebody saying something against you. Prabhupada said, as long as I get to preach about Krishna, I will go. So Prabhupada went on that talk show. So in that talk show, this man was a very aggressive kind of a host of a program. He said, so, Swamiji, you have come from India. We have heard that the death rate is very high in India. What he meant by that was, you are coming from a country where people are not enough caring for their own health and education. What health and education are you going to give to us Americans? It's a sarcasm. So when he said that we have heard that death rate is very high in India, what have you come to teach us here? That kind of tone. Prabhupada looked at him and said, death rate is same everywhere all over the world, whether America or India. It is 100%. Everybody has to die. He never thought of that. And then he said, okay, Swamiji, what do you think will happen to the world if everybody took to Krishna consciousness the way you have taken? How will this world go on? If everybody becomes like you, how will the whole world go on? Prabhupada again sharply replied, no, there will always be some fools like you who won't become Krishna conscious, and the world will go on. That was like too much. The question is like somebody says, अरे सारे criminals अगर अच्छे citizens बन जाएंगे तो prisons का क्या होगा? और तुमको prison चाहिए क्यों? Is it a glorious thing to have prison? So material world is like that. Spiritual world is our original home. We have somehow come here, do your business and get out. But people think somehow this world has to go on. The world must go on. So anyways, so that's an example of Vichalayat. Sometimes you really jolt a person. So then he starts. And then after that, 2 jolts that he got, thunderbolts, he became suddenly, so Swamiji, what is your exact mission? Why have you come here now? He became very humble in asking further questions. So a devotee should know, hard like a thunderbolt, soft like a rose. When to apply which principle is an art. And usually all the time only thunderbolts and no roses is not a good policy. And also all the time only roses and no thunderbolt is also not a good policy. But an expert devotee, Kritsnavit, he knows how to handle which situation. So the first paragraph has got the last line in the purport. Such bewildered persons may be engaged in such primary moral principles of life as non-violence and similarly materially benevolent work. Which means they are not able to take to spirituality. Fine, no problem. Let them practice their non-violence, benevolent social activities, or whatever they consider as moral, and ethical and socially beneficial. Let them do it. Don't go and give them a dose that this is all under illusion. Whatever you are doing. No, let them. Let them be, as they call. Let them be. And if we approach with this strategy, we will see there will be many people who will happily take to spiritual life. Why? Because they don't feel at all threatened by a devotee. They find that the devotee is so sensitive and he's so giving himself that although certain things don't fit in his own ideology, but are moral, he supports. You have heard this name, Bitti Deva Raya? He was a great king in South India, Karnataka, near Hampi, I guess. So he was follower of Vaishnavism. Very powerful king. Later on he got initiated by, I think, Ramanujacharya, and his name became Vishnuvardhana. Vishnuvardhana you have heard. His wife was a Jain. Now Jainism is offshoot of Vedic culture only. It is nothing different or... The only problem was that when the Brahmanas started misusing the Vedas and they became extremely violent, there were 2 offshoots of the Vedic culture, Buddhism and Jainism. The followers of Buddha and the followers of one king called Arhata or Arihanta, who imitated the austerities of Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is an incarnation of Krishna. And from there, the tapasya became the focus and bhakti went in the background. And that's the path of Jainism. So they said, ahimsa paramo dharmaha, no violence against anybody. Noble principles. Now, although they don't worship Supreme Lord, Jaina and Buddha are Gnostics. They don't believe in God's existence. Now, can you imagine in a home, husband is a Vishnuvardhana, he's a powerful Vaishnava, and his wife is practicing Jainism. She is Gnostic. She doesn't believe in God, but she believes in moral principles. Truthfulness, non-violence, cleanliness, austerity, She believes in that. Now, usually what would you expect, typically? Conflict. All the time, somebody nagging somebody, your philosophy is wrong, your practice is wrong. You will be shocked to know this Vishnuvardhana to build Jain temples. he gave huge sums of money from his treasury just so that his wife can peacefully practice what she truly believes in, because that was not something so off or wrong. And this is how Vedic culture is always very tolerant and believes in peaceful coexistence. Exactly opposite of this are Abrahamic religions, where they have this understanding that my way is highway, you either follow or we will finish you up, in return. This is never the strategy. So that's why even if people are bewildered, you still put up with them with the hope that someday they will become unbewildered. And think of thoughtful ways to engage them meaningfully. Next verse, text 30. You can give the title, Purpose of Bhagavad Gita, to this verse. Please repeat. Mai sarvani karmani sannyasya chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. Translation. Actually, this is a Bhakti Yoga verse, not Karma Yoga. The word is Mai. Mai sarvani karmani sannyasya. So, resign all your works unto me. That doesn't mean you don't do anything. It means you do everything for me. You do your parenting for me, cooking for me. Every activity of your life. Dovetail it for my care. Sannyasya adhyatma chetasa. Perform your regular duties in spiritual consciousness. Now, what do you mean spiritual consciousness? To become conscious of the presence of God in everyone, in everything, and in every situation. And to deal accordingly with them. It's called Adhyatma Chetas. One who is always spiritually conscious. Just like a girl newly gets married and she goes to her in-laws' place, the only current relationship that she has some confidence or closeness about is her husband. She doesn't know all the, those huge variety of in-laws and extensions, मेरे husband के चाचा के मेरे भाई का third son, and his wife's second daughter, this kind of long distance relationship. But then as soon as this girl gets married to this person, everyone in the family of that husband becomes related to her. And she starts serving all of them, keeping the pleasure of her husband in mind. That ultimately he has to become pleased by my service. Similarly, before coming in touch with Krishna, our real husband, we are Prakruti. We have no clue that everything in this creation is already connected to God. We are blind to see this. But after hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, we start perceiving how even material things are connected to Krishna. Nothing is actually material. This whole universe is a paraphernalia meant to be engaged in service of God. So one starts developing this vision, and then with the new relationship striked with Krishna, everyone else becomes an object of our service. This is called as Adhyatma Chetasa, spiritual consciousness. Nirashi. Nirasha nahi, Nirashi. Ashi means desires. Nirashi means without desire for personal profit through the activity that we perform. Just like in Vedic culture, education is always given for free. If you go and ask a teacher if he taught you something wonderful in your life, how much to pay, he will laugh at you. They say, Shiksha, ये कोई अर्थार्जन की चीज़ नहीं है. Now modern times is not like that. For even a small consultancy, somebody may go for 5 minutes, he will charge 1,000 rupees. So this is our horrible culture. So Nirashi means no expectations of profit. Now somebody may say, फिर तुम जियोगे कैसे? तुमको पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? This is our problem. We don't believe that if I follow dharma, my maintenance will come my way. जैसे कोई जेल में भी रहता है लेकिन जेल के सारे कानून को फॉलो करता है, उसका ब्रेड बटर, मेडिसिन, सोने के लिए, खाने के लिए उसको सब कुछ मिलता रहता है. All he has to do is to follow the laws of the jail. Now this is a very horrible example, but in our case, we have to really start living dharma. We will always be maintained. We don't need to worry. Even elephants are getting maintained in African jungles. They don't go and do IIT and PhD anywhere. There are ants who are getting maintained. They every day get their food. Are we going and supplying them personally? So who is maintaining all living beings all over the world? Eko bahusyamaha. There is one Supreme Lord who is maintaining everyone else. So we should have that faith and thus become Nirashi. Nirashi means do your dharma and don't expect every now and then to get some profit out of everything you do. Nirmamo. Nirmamo means without sense of ownership over what you do. Like Prabhupada, he established ISKCON. He went with 40 rupees to America. When he came back, ISKCON had more than 400 crore properties. And when Prabhupada was about to pass away from this world, some of his blood relationships, children, they claimed that this is our father's property and we should have a share in it. And Prabhupada said, no. My American boys and girls, my disciples, who helped me spread the mission of my Guru, they deserve this entirety of society in their name. And can you imagine somebody not, जनरली कोई कुछ कमाता है, वो मरने वाला, जब तक मरा नहीं है तब तक वो ओनरशिप जाता ही है, लेकिन मरने के बाद भी चाहता है कि मेरे ब्लड रिलेशनशिप को मिलना चाहिए, दूसरे किसी के पास नहीं जाना चाहिए. This is called nirmama. And then yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. Yudhyasva means do your duty in our context. For Arjuna, that's fighting. Vigata jvaraha means giving up your laziness. So most of us have three basic problems in life. Why we keep postponing our spiritual activities. First problem is laziness. Second problem is enjoying mentality. You have too much attachment to the matter. It keeps coming in between. And third is pride. For a little thing that we accomplish, we become too proud. And then we forget subordination, to God and His laws. So what are the three problems? Laziness, enjoying mentality, and pride. So a devotee, a good sadhaka, should constantly guard against them. And that's why leading a regulated life takes care of your laziness. And developing service attitude takes care of your enjoying mentality. And having persons to whom we are accessible and accountable in our spiritual life levels your pride. So this is why yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. One should simply fight, or rather do duty, giving up all laziness. So purport is very beautiful. I would just read few portions of it and then conclude. This verse clearly indicates the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. Become fully Krishna conscious as if in military discipline. Some injunctions may make things little difficult. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out. How many of you are in NCC? Anybody in NCC?
I was.
You was. That's what I'm asking. You were in NCC? How many of you have some connection with armed forces, some training you have got? Any somewhere? Okay, not many. I don't know how much you relate to this example. I was a sergeant. So, in my NCC days, we had, can you imagine, just like we have in our temple, full morning program and so many spiritual activities, there is a regime that everybody follows. Even these people, every morning they get up at 4:30. And first there is Lota parade. Lota parade means you catch a Lota and go for your morning. That's technical name for taking a bio break. So then after the Lota parade, you come back, you take a shower, and then you dress up. The way you dress up, shining stars, shining belt, clean shoes, well groomed, soldier cut. No, those sideburns and this and that. No showing off. And then the way you wear your topi and everything. And dot at 5 a.m. the bugle blows. As soon as the bugle blows, the whole troop, from wherever they are in their barracks, they come running. And dot on time 5, they are standing exactly in the location that they are supposed to stand. Savdhan! Chalu hota uska. Vishram! And then Bayamud, Dayamud. And the Lota, not Lota, the normal parade starts. And then they have their parade, and then there are those adventure tracks, through which everybody has to go sweating, foaming, fuming, doing this, difficult activity, that difficult activity. And then there is rifle shooting, and you are told to hit on the, the bull's eye, and they show so many bullets. And then in between, they give you some missions, to accomplish. They call the whole troop, they say, so आज हम यहाँ जाएंगे, ये करेंगे. Any questions? No, sir! Everybody, very loudly. And sometimes some person doesn't know the protocol. So he raises a hand. मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आया मेरे को. तो बोलते थोड़ा बाहर आ जाओ. तो उसके हाथ में राइफल देते, बोलते थोड़ा 8 किलोमीटर दौड़ लगा के आओ. तो वो जाता है, 4 राउंड करके आता है. उसके बाद बोलते एनी क्वेश्चंस? नो सर. कुछ क्वेश्चन दे अभी इसके आगे. Can you imagine? These are the two things they, ekata or anuशासन, unity and discipline. So anything you want to become successful at needs 2 basic qualities: attention and submission. You have to give full attention. That's why they are attention. The first command. I'm sorry, I really used to do this. So my voice can go even louder than that. But attention means what? Be in the present. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Be here, now. And submissiveness means whatever the superiors give you as a command, you must follow. And that's the basic training they give you again and again in army. So what does this word as if in military discipline for us mean? We should also follow spiritual life with that type of attitude. And in our temple also, 4:30 a.m. our bugle blows, conchal. And some of you I have seen on Saturday, Sundays, you come running. Our troop comes. And then there is attention. The main personalities appear on the scene. And everybody offers their salute. Ours is a slightly different one, Dandavat. And then we also have our left, right, left. The kirtan that we do. And we have our own songs of glorification. And then we also sit down and have our bullet shooting. What is that? Japa. We have 108 ka round. And it gets reloaded automatically. And then we have to shoot. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So in the beginning, we chant at Namaparad stage where we are inattentive in our chanting. तो हमारा बुलेट वो बोर्ड पे भी नहीं लगता है. तो हमको बोला जाता है बार बार अपराध मत करो, अच्छे से जप करो. So sometimes, namabhas, the second stage, which means you start hitting the bullet at least on the board. Not on the bullseye, but... And by practice, eventually it becomes Shuddhanam. Shuddhanam means you really chant one pure name of Krishna. It has such a potency, it eradicates all your sinful reactions from the past. It cleanses the person thoroughly and gives him personal presence of God, audience of God, there itself. So that's called hitting on the, bullseye. So all our practice, itne baith ke hum 16 multiplied by 108, रोज practice करते रहते ना. So this is with the hope that someday, that one Shuddhanam will come and it will transform everything in my life. So this is called military discipline. And then we also have our, commander-in-chief or whatever, army generals like Prabhupada. And then there is Guru Puja. And if you are a right marker, Right marker is a position in the parade that you do. You have to go and report the activities of your troop to your commander. And that's what we do in our Guru Puja. Every day we go in front of Prabhupada and offer a flower at his feet and kind of give a report of previous day and share our plans of today's mission that we are going to accomplish and seek his permission and blessings. Offer full dandavat. This is exactly how it means we practice spiritual life as if in military discipline. So sometimes we just read one word and it goes. But we need to really look at the whole cultural picture around it. So there is a slogan in army. You must have heard this. The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. आपने सुना ये? शांति के समय जितना पसीना बहाओगे उतना तुम्हारा कम खून बहेगा युद्ध के समय. तो कोई पूछेगा अरे अभी युद्ध हो रहा है क्या? रोज क्या सुबह सुबह उठ के लोग चालू हो जाते हैं सो जाओ भाई, थोड़ा आराम, इतना क्या टेंशन खड़ा कर रहे हो लाइफ में? Why do they do that every day? You have to be always prepared. You don't know when the enemy will strike. Similarly, we don't know in our life when Maya will strike. And if you are what they call lackadaisical, say wishy-washy, lukewarm, in our spiritual practice, then any time Maya can come and make a faluda out of us. Chutney. I don't know what you like, but whatever. So we have to be daily prepared. Sharpen our intelligence with spiritual knowledge. Keep our consciousness pure, clutter-free, focused on Krishna and his instructions. And keep our senses alert through proper lifestyle so that we can execute great work on behalf of God. So that is the meaning of as if in military discipline. So the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So a little later, I think 12th line, Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He had only to execute his order. It's like that same one. Any questions? No, sir! After hearing Bhagavad Gita. If you really got clear what's going on here, then Karishye Vachanam Tava. Arjuna says, oh Lord, whatever you tell me, I will do. A little below, I think 20th line, the cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer. You got that one? But he does not claim a cent for himself. Amazing example. A cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but he does not claim a cent for himself. Similarly, one has to realize that nothing in the world belongs to any individual person, but that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. That is the real purport of Mai, unto me. Mai sanyasya, sarva karmani. This consciousness is called nirmama. Nothing is mine. Okay, so we end there. So just to summarize what we studied, we just studied 2 verses. First verse talked about Krutsnavit and Akrutsnavit. People who know how to meaningfully engage themselves and also others should engage the other party in also doing work that is dovetailed in service or mission of God. And not just give them lectures on how they should not do what they are doing and just put off or agitate their peaceful existence. And the second verse we discussed was more about military discipline. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvara. So because that word came yudhyasva, Prabhupada very beautifully brings out this military discipline in our sadhana bhakti. So if you want to take one message home from the class today, that is this. Sadhana means to always engage our senses rightly. And we know, we have heard enough now. What is the right engagement for our senses? So mind may not be still submissive. Mind may be still distracted. Mind may not cooperate. Still with our senses, we should sternly practice spiritual culture. जैसे कभी सुबह उठने का मन नहीं करता है तो उठ के बैठ जाने का, हाथ में माला पकड़ लेने का, जब बात चालू हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम, माइंड बोलता है क्या तंग कर रहा है यार, थोड़ा शांत हो। तो उसको बोला देख तू फॉलो करे नहीं कर, मैं तो ऐसे ही बैठने वाला हूँ। सो इफ यू डू दिस एज अ प्रैक्टिस ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, माइंड सेज फाइनली ओके बाबा सरेंडर, यू नो आई कोऑपरेट नाउ। एनीवेज 2 घंटा बैठ के इतना मुंह हिला ही रहा है, तो इट्स बेटर टू गेट इन्वॉल्व एंड कॉन्शियसली डू इट। You know, this is how you pull out yourself from the lethargy and start practicing spiritual culture. Engage senses rightly. Don't worry about your mind right now, and do that as if in military discipline. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.